show you how to play Baby It's Cold Outside as it was sung by Dean Martin in the late 50s. If you want the letter notes for that, go to LetterNotePlayer.com. I have them there for you. I'm going to start off with the introduction because it's totally unique to the song actually. You're just going to have in the left hand, you're going to have a D sharp E, D sharp E, then a G sharp A, G sharp A, and then it'll be G, F, D, G. We'll end with a G7 there, and we'll just spell it down. G, G, F, D, skip the B and go down to a G. And then we go right into the melody. We're in the key of C, so that makes it a little bit easier to play. Now in the right hand, you're going to have G, B, A, G sharp, G sharp, B, A, G sharp, B, A, C, E flat, D, C, E flat, D. And then we're going to have two little grace notes passing right up to a G. E, F, G, right there. And then the bass will pick it up. And then we come right in with the melody. So together it'll sound like this, and I'll go slowly so that you can see. Now, let's get the bass. The bass is going to go C, G, C, G. Except that because we're going to switch voices, we're going to go up here. We're going to have the treble voice, the girl's voice will be right here. And then the male voice will come down an octave. Then the girl's voice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the bass too. I'm going to go C, G, then I'm going to go C, G, D, G, D, G, C, G, low C, G, and then we've got a G minor chord right there. So let's get the treble, let's get the notes, and then we'll get them. We'll put it together. C, E, D, C, G. Then I have to change the rhythm just slightly because they come in on top of each other. They come in on top of each other, and I can't finish the melodies unless I finish it and then go to the next one. So I changed it just a little bit. I mainly changed his and made it a little faster. So her first melody is C, E, D, C, G. Then we go down an octave and go C, E, E, D, E, C, C. Then back up to D, F, E, D, D, G, D, F, F, E, F, D, D, C, E, D, C, G, down, E, E, D, C, E, C, C. And then she sings G, F, C, D, and he responds with A, G, D, A, G, D, E, F. And then they're into F, A, C, 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 C. He imitates it with A, C, 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 C. Then she comes back with F, A, C, 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 C. A, C, 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 C. He imitates that right there, and then does it again. F, A, C, 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 C. He imitates it. A, C, 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 C. Then she softens up and goes to a D major, F sharp, A, D, 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 A, F sharp, A, D, 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 D. And he responds with, yeah, you get the glass, I'll pour. D, 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 E, F sharp. And then I'm going to put a chord right there, a G7, G and B, F and G. So they go back and forth. So now let's put the hands together, and I'm going to go slowly. want to do there is I'm going to hold that G minor chord, and then right at one point I'm going to put a little punctuated C7 in there with a G, B flat C. So we got, and we bring that G minor in on this D. And then you can hold it right through this part. And let the voice by itself. We're just going to have F and C, and I'm not going to change octaves because it's too far for the F, because F, C, I'm just going to stay in the low range for the octave on the F and the C. I'm only going to change the right hand octave. Because I'm down at this C, when I go to the F sharp, the D major, I'm just going to go up to the D right there. I'm not going to come up here. I'm going to... That way I don't have to switch back and forth. And when you bring this back up, you're going to have an F sharp there because you're in D major, and then you're going to a G7. So you're going to go from that F sharp to the F and the G. And there's an optional note here. You can either leave this A out or you can play it. So when you play... You're okay there, and then right... You don't have to play that A right there. It sounds just as good without... See, and you don't need that A. But if your hand is going, it won't hurt to play it. It's right in the chord. Gives a little dissonance to that D. So either way, you can leave that A out, just cross it out if you don't want to play it. What it does, if you leave it out, it lets you set up your right hand for that chord. And it sounds a little better because it gets out of the way. See, it kind of gets in the way with that A. But I've got it there, and you can use it either way. Then we go right into the second verse. Just like the first. Different right here. You're going to have the D, and then finish that line. He goes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this part, first part in the right hand, and then pick the melody up with the left hand. G, A, B, C. Well, this gets a little difficult here because the hands come together. So she sings and he sings da 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 dee da, and then they're unison together, E, F, G, A, B. And to end that, I'm going to just make it into a chord by playing a third in the left hand, a major third, C and E. So the right and left hand will play unison. E, F, G, A, B, C and E. And then there's a little interlude there. So to get into that, and here we just play this, stay on that C right there. Don't go down to this C. The reason for that is because your hand's there, and then all you got to do is move that hand just a little bit, and so I don't take that down to this C. I stay right there so that my hand doesn't have to move as far. But you have to get this finger out of the way. See, because you're coming down on that C. And then go to an E in both hands. That finishes that verse out. Now every verse, each verse is actually two sections. So you've got a first verse and a second verse that's actually 1A and 1B. And in the second verse, the third verse and the fourth verse are actually 2A and 2B, because there's a verse and then an answer verse, and they're very similar. The only thing different is the ending of it. But before we get into the third verse, there's a little interlude there. So right after we have, now the interlude is just this: E, G, B, D, B, D, B, D, B, D, B, just right down. Now I do this. I go, start on my little finger, and then cross over on the A right there. Now they extend that interlude just a little bit longer with a few more things, a few more notes there. I don't think it's necessary. You get the essence of their interlude with just this. And you can make it playful. If you make it as playful as you can. And when you come out of that, end on that F and then hit the E and then F and G together, which will give you that G7. So now we're going to be down here, E, F, D, G. So your bass notes, there's going to be an E, an F, and then a D. So here's how it'll go together. Third verse. And he changes rhythmically right here. He changes the rhythm. So you look out the window at the storm. Back to the same thing. But if you can change it, make hers a little harsher and his a little softer, because she's singing about brothers looking out and a maid is upset and her sister is there, and he's singing like it's tropical island paradise, and her lips are so luscious right there. So you can try to show the difference in the two styles. Softens up at the F sharp. And now here, I'll put in a little F and a G right there as a little thing between the two sections of that third verse. The A section and the B section. There's right there. Just a natural pause there and sets you up for the fourth verse. And if you want to slow it down, you can slow it down. You can slow down the whole piece. It doesn't hurt it at all. Tag. And it's just like that end of that thing that we did before the interlude. It's just like that, where we come down and our hands come real close together. For the tag, we go. Then we go unison. But here we're going to double time and put a chord in between there. So we can go up to the A. E, F, G, A, put a D chord, D, F sharp, A. Now, they're both going to sing unison. But I'm not going to play the melody in the left hand because I'm going to go right to a G7 chord. So we go a D chord, which leads to a G7. And the G7 I'm going to play from this D chord, I'm going to go to a B, F, G. Now your G7 is G, B, D, F, so we're not even going to play the D, but we'll play the B here, F, and the G. So that tag I'm going to go slowly this time so you can see all the notes. Then the D chord, and then A, B, G, and on that B, we're going to hit the B, F, G right there. And two C chords, one in the right hand and one in the left hand. We'll play C, E, G, E, G, C, and you can end it there if you want. Now they put a nice little tone cluster there. I'm going to change their tone cluster and just put in a easy little C, D, E, F sharp G. So it'll sound like, and I play it with both hands. And then I pull it off abruptly, but you can let it fade. You can let it fade out like that. I kind of like an abrupt stop. So we've got. And you don't have to use that tone cluster if you don't want to. There you have it. Maybe it's cold outside. It's a fun little piece. I hope you enjoy it.